I just want to tell everybody in the audience, when the
Yeah, right?
Yeah, she's on her way.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the VillageFest Board meeting. My name is Dottie Watson, and I'm the chair. So I call to order our meeting today on January 28th, 2020 at 3:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Okay. Chair Watson,
Here.
Vice Chair Campbell,
Here.
Board Member Garton,
Here.
Board Member Flick is absent, Board Member Gonella,
Here.
Board Member Montanti is absent, Board Member Baum,
He's on his way. I saw him in the
Okay.
parking lot. at
okay,
downtown.
and Board Member Meredith, Main Street Meredith.
Yes.
We have a quorum.
Okay.
Main
That's
Street.
my new name. That's Meredith.
God, I haven't seen you in a long time.
A name like that, you could be a rapper.
You know that?
Main Street
You
Meredith.
just missed one meeting? I know, you weren't here.
And we just call it Maney.
Okay. We now are going to have public comments, and that means anybody in the audience will get 3 minutes to come up and speak to anything regarding VillageFest down on the street or the board. So if anybody has anything they want to talk about. Okay, come on up. You get 3 minutes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Patrick Laterio, the garlic grater guy. I submitted an email, and just going to read it real quick. I urgently request that you review Deborah Murphy and Jason Rackley's participation at VillageFest. On April 8th, 2018, Jason Rackley came to the jury and was told application would be denied, as is board member Julie Montante made a motion to approve vendor with resubmitted application, including Jason Rackley's name and pictures. There was a concern brought up by Miss Dorothy Watson and board member Manley. I couldn't hear it, but Manley, okay, that the board would be breaking our own rules in the future and in the past by accepting this vendor. So it was left that Deborah Murphy resubmit application to VillageFest with Jason Rackley's name and picture showing Jason Rackley in the studio. On June 12th, Jason Rackley came with the application updated to show his name accompanied with pictures of him in the studio, and he was subsequently approved. On July 29th, I obtained information that neither Jason Rackley nor Deborah Murphy were participating at their booth, but instead an Eric Billups, and I give the booth number. To wit, the continued participation of this vendor at VillageFest puts the approval process into question and also goes against the spirit of what and why the rules of VillageFest were created. This vendor was told exactly what to do and how to be approved by this board in good faith, with the belief that they were the creators of their product and that they were going to participate. They should not be allowed to resubmit another application with another set of pictures showing another person. Deborah Murphy submitted the application. If she cannot personally attend VillageFest, she should not be allowed to have a person that, regardless of whether they make it or not, that's not in the application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Faith, or do we need to adjust this now? No, okay. Okay, anybody else? No. Okay, board comments. I just have one, and it's short, and we'll continue it later. I just wanted to thank board member Celia and also Julie. We went to the art festival on Saturday, and we can talk about it a little bit more in depth, in India, rather, I'm sorry, at the end of the meeting. But anyway, thank you for being there. Any correspondence?
The only correspondence that we have in file is a letter that you have in front of you, which is also what our public speaker mentioned. So he read the whole thing, so we don't need to review it any further.
Okay. Okay, the next thing is the consent calendar. We have to do this in twos because we didn't have everybody here the last meeting. So we'll do the first one on posting of the agenda. So somebody give me a motion.
I move that we accept the posting of the agenda.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Of course, it was, no, that's for the minutes. All right, the next one is the approval of the minutes. Okay, let me have a motion for that, please.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye, and of course, none, and then,
You're the one. You
Pardon?
weren't here. You weren't here last, right?
She was.
no, it was Darrell that I don't think was here.
Oh, okay.
The last meeting?
So we could have kept it this.
No, I don't think Darrell was here the last
He
time.
was not, he was not.
Right, but he's not here to.
Yeah. You guys could.
Okay, all right, all right. Okay, the next is the legislative action. That is where you good people in the audience will come up now. The first person is the gourmet grader, Patrick Laterio, Arts and Crafts. There you go.
This one has water in it.
Oh, wow.
So this is something new that I've kind of come, inspired by with all the power outages in California. There's some lights there. Something different than the gourmet grater. You know, I've been doing that grater for 7 years now, and I think it's time to move into other parts of the household. So this will be a nice addition to, you know, the dining room or the bedroom or the bathroom. You can put essential oils in this thing. And then that right there, you've had a vendor in the past that did Ikebana vases, but that's what that one is. And I have a bunch of other cool ideas for shapes and a lot of work.
Do we have the folder? Okay.
A lot of work to make these forms that I then use as braces to kind of support these things so they don't
Very clever.
dissolve in the heat in the kiln, because you're firing this to about 2,200 degrees.
So it's ceramic?
Ceramic.
Do they come in other colors too?
Oh yeah, I was gonna do it in earth tones. But they kind of seem a little bit more boring than I was thinking that they would come out. So I'm thinking about doing them in the like blue, green, like Fiesta wear colors. But
That's a good idea.
yeah, this is a new product
Very,
that I've been working
very
on.
clever.
And your other product is the grater?
Grater.
Yeah, I do ceramic graters, garlic keepers, olive oil vases. I think I'm approved for herb grinders, bigger versions of the grater, a bowl.
The only thing that I really have to say, Patrick, is can you supply a picture to staff of you actually making it? This is a great picture, but you're not in it.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a little formality, and you can,
Yeah.
just show
Sure.
it to them. That's all
Absolutely.
it's going to take.
Full house.
Oh, my gosh, she's here. There you go.
Who are you?
Can I just ask?
Go ahead.
So, he is a verified vendor here based on him making pottery.
Right,
So you want to see a picture of him making
just this.
pottery? Okay.
Because
I
he's
just-
already been approved for the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just, yeah. Any questions? No?
Nope.
Okay, I need a motion.
I move we accept this vendor?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
There you go.
I can't
Okay.
vote or I would.
Okay,
We can
thank
put it
you,
in
Patrick.
Oh,
This is-
I love the way that he expanded his line, doing
Same.
something very similar,
Right.
But with
but
continuity.
expanded. Yes, I think
Right.
that
Yes, I
that
love
is
that.
really
That's
what,
great.
what makes it special.
Right. Exactly.
Are you
Those
going to
are
have
cool.
them lit down there, maybe?
Yeah, maybe just one.
Yeah.
I was kind of gonna ask Faith and Jasmine for a little bit of guidance on what
Yeah, are
I
we,
can have
is he
lit.
allowed to do that?
So, yeah, definitely, it's gonna look real nice lit, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
talk
think
to them
that
about
would
that.
sell better.
yeah,
if you-
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, folks. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, the next one is also a downtown merchant, current vendor, Southern California Electric Bikes, David McDowell and Freddie. You here? No? Okay. All right. Next one is, we've got entertainment. Abigail Carter. Hi there. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, Abigail. If you want to take that off, you can take No, up at the top,
So
just,
she's just lowering it.
yeah.
Oh, is it
Well,
okay
if you
I-
want to walk around.
Okay. You want me to walk around?
Yeah, well, it makes it easier for you.
Okay.
There you go. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Abigail Carter. I'm 17 years old. I'm sorry. I play the piano and the guitar and I sing. I've done a few competitions around the valley and I wanted to start performing at VillageFest. I thought that it would be a fun thing for me to do and a fun thing to experience all the things that the valley has to offer.
Do
Am
you
I?
have a sample of your work?
I do. I do. It's on. I was told that I could
I couldn't
videotape
open it
it.
for some reason.
I didn't get a video. What did you say?
They told me that I could bring in a video on my
Yeah.
phone that you guys could
That's
see.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear it? That's good.
I've got a girl crush. Hate to admit it.
All of this helps.
No, for the people at home. It's for the recording.
Here, you can pass this around if you want.
With it.
It's a window, and I've got it real bad. Want everything she has.
Okay. Very good.
Voice.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
assuming, are you going to be playing guitar and piano?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I think that was a good way to display it.
I think so
Yeah, it
too.
is.
Really, that was
Thank
very
you.
easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I couldn't open it up. for-
Innovative little critters.
Not like our technically challenged us.
We have to take out the big boom box.
Or answering the phone properly, okay. All right, anybody else have any questions?
Do you want to be year-round or seasonal or?
I was hoping to be year-round if you guys would have me.
And you know you're rotated.
Yeah, we
Okay.
rotate like every other week or every few weeks.
Whatever, I don't know, whatever. That's her job.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a motion to get into conversation if we wanted
I
to.
move we accept this vendor.
I second.
I think we don't need any conversation, we all like
Yep.
her, okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed, none, there you go.
Beautiful.
All right.
Have fun down there.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah.
All right.
Hope you get a lot of exposure.
Okay, next one is Carissa Weber Arts and Crafts. Are you here? Oh, there you are. Are you from Laverne, California? Yeah. You came all the way for you. We like that.
How far away is Laverne?
I don't know how many miles, but it's not in the neighborhood.
How long the drive, like 2 hours?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, at least. You know what, spread them out. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that before, this way you won't have to try to talk and, yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can yeah.
So we're being recorded, so what you want to do is speak into the phone, microphone, so set things out and then talk about your work.
Yeah. Here you go. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cute.
Okay, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm a painter, and I make original paintings by
Closer.
hand. And I photograph them to create prints. I submitted videos of this painting being painted.
Folder.
Yeah. They're all nice.
I sell them framed
Is it-
and unframed.
Oh, I like that.
Here are some of the original paintings.
So you guys want the original or you get both?
You frame both sizes? Yeah, no, so the small prints, they're 8 by 10 size. I don't sell those framed, I sell them as is.
This is the original.
This size I sell framed. These are 11 by 14 prints.
Very beautiful.
I
Beautiful.
do animals and like inspirational quotes. This is a print. You can see the original painting there, and this is the photographic print.
Your eyes are incredible in all your animals. I mean, you just capture. It's beautiful.
Thank you. So I sell my work full time, and I came across the VillageFest. I've attended it, and I thought it was a wonderful venue to find more people to share my art and just get out there.
So are you looking to be weekly, year-round?
I am, yeah.
So you're willing to drive all that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
She isn't the first.
You know,
We
this
have
is-
them from out of state.
This is,
Depending on how it goes, of course, but
this
I
is
would
really a
hope to.
true artist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
true
totally.
artist.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Beautiful work.
Beautiful.
When on the street, we have
Oh, you're right. the
we have
booth.
quite a few that are from like LA and from San Gabriel Valley and from
They
all
come
over.
from, you know,
Yeah.
we've had them from out of state.
This is me.
Yeah.
That was me. Every day.
Sloth? No, I don't
Every
think so,
day,
Julie.
upside down.
Yeah, and you can view my website. I have my information on the back of the prints.
Cute.
I have a lot of different
Picture purchase.
paintings.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice work.
I like your booth, too.
Oh, great, thank you.
So
Okay, anybody have
colorful.
Yeah. Anybody have any more questions? Okay, I need a motion.
I move we accept this vendor.
I second.
No discussion, I don't think we need any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, there you go.
Thank you.
Beautiful work. Thank you.
Can't wait.
Beautiful.
Have fun.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exciting.
We were looking for good artists.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Let us know how it's going for you, too.
Yeah,
Like to
thank
know.
you. Good, thank you, Carissa. I think you'll do well.
You do very well, especially with the
Yeah.
price point also.
All right, the next person is Gentle Giant Arts, Martha Daly. Hi, Martha.
So I'm really curious about the name.
Okay, well, should I use this?
Yes, please.
Should you just start up and set up?
Yeah,
first?
you know
Why
what,
don't you set up first?
set everything, yeah, otherwise you're gonna
We're
go
being
crazy.
recorded, that way it's,
Yeah,
yeah.
just, that's it.
I might pass these around. I was asked for photographs of me producing a piece, which I have with me. I didn't know that was necessary, so they're not very flattering, but
Go ahead and
But
set
it
up.
is for him?
Go ahead and set up and then you'll need the microphone.
Yeah,
okay.
And this is actually being recorded live.
that'll go in my
I
yard.
was gonna say, right up your alley.
I can't take any.
Can you make that with a necklace for Dottie?
Now, girls, don't get cute.
Oh, there's a nice one for her. We'll know where she's at.
If you lived next door to me, you know, I would come and rip the inside of the doorbell. So I already gave Irv and Cheryl a hard time about their wind chime. I don't think, you know,
There's pictures of her doing.
I can never live next to you. I love you, dear, but I wouldn't live next to you then.
Okay.
Okay, now tell us about yourself. and-
Gentle Giant Art started when I was I'm a retired corporate accountant. This is what happens. And I,
Go crazy.
they were throwing out a bunch of wine barrel rings one time, and I said, oh, I'll be able to use those for something, throw them in my car. That was about 15 years ago. Ultimately, I started making wind chimes on these wine barrel rings, and they were called Gentle Giants because when they started to move, it took quite a lot of wind, which is great for the desert, but they were a very gentle sound. So that's how I came up with the name.
There you go,
Cool.
Dan.
Love that.
Would you pass one of them so we can look at them?
Okay, I'll pass one that's a little bit more
Oh, I like
reasonable
that.
size. These are,
Dottie, don't try it on.
my full-time residence is in Oregon, and
There
I,
is a chain.
Should demograft it for her.
I come down every winter and stay with family here in the valley. And last year was my first year selling out at College of the Desert. And I just didn't have time to put all my information together for VillageFest. So I just got here a week ago, and that was the first thing I did.
What's a price range?
Well, the price ranges for the driftwood suncatchers start at 30, and they go up to ones such as this, which is, I haven't priced it yet, but it'll probably be 90 to 100. And it depends on the intricacy of the wood and how much embellishments I put into the wood and the type of crystals and.
Beautiful.
Really?
And then I also do, I call these tree bells. I think this might be better.
Whatever's easier for you.
Yeah. These are what I call tree bells, and they're made on slip rings. They come in 3 different sizes. And they go onto a, oh, I just broke this ring. They go onto a branch. At the end of the branch where it can't slide off, and then when the branch moves, it rings the bell. And I make them in this size, which could be anywhere from 25 to 40, depending on the size of the bell, and shorter ones which start at 10 and go up to 20.
Really nice.
Really nice, very different. We don't
Yeah,
have anything like that.
I don't think so.
I'll get a short one here to pass it around.
Could you hold up that round piece of wood? I think that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that one's nice.
This is a piece of Oregon, it's all Oregon coastal driftwood, which I get my exercise gathering. And these round patties, I call them, I have to lug logs. If you've been to the Oregon sand dunes, you got to climb up and you got to climb down, and then you can get to the driftwood. So these, I drag up the hill, I chop them in layers, and I string them together, usually with a pendologue. All the crystals, that's not true. Most of the crystals come out of antique chandeliers, and that's where these pendologues come from.
That's so cool. Very nice.
Very nice. No.
You want me to
Beautiful.
pass this?
No, no, no.
No, you don't
It's
have
okay.
to.
We'll never get it back.
This is, because I do all the work on the wood up in Oregon, because I need my drills and my, my Dremels and all that, I brought working inventory with me, and this is what the working inventory is, and you can see how the wood is embellished.
Beautiful. Just one thing. First of all, your booth is great. I love it. And your pictures are good. I just need you to supply, oh, you
That's what
have
those
it?
were.
Never mind.
Oh,
Never mind.
Yeah, they're not very flattering, but it's
That's
actually.
okay. I didn't see it in the folder here, so. Okay, no problem then. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Beautiful.
I like how she brought this too, though, to
Yeah.
show the progression of
Yeah.
the piece, how it starts out. And
Very clever.
Very different. We
Yeah.
don't have anything like this on the streets.
Yeah. All right, if there's no more questions, I need a motion.
I move we accept this vendor.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Don't need it. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you
None?
very
There
much.
you go.
Looking forward to seeing you on the street.
I think it's going to be a big hit,
Yeah, I think so too.
It's beautiful.
especially on windy nights.
Your neighbors will love you.
I call that free advertising.
We do get wind down there.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes
like this
we don't want
Thursday.
too much, because then they close you down.
Well, if you've ever been to the coast of Oregon,
Windy, huh?
we get them. Yeah. And these are all, I should tell you, these are all made for the wind, to hold up to weather. All the bolts are set with silicone liquid nails,
Yeah.
and it's all strung on plastic-covered metal wire. It's not monofilament or plastic.
Good. Okay.
Even better.
Yep. I'll give you a minute to put your things away. The next person up, as soon as she clears the table.
Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time. You're not in a
No,
rush.
don't rush, don't rush. I'm just going to let a little Paseo. I don't want to say your name and not say it correctly.
Carla and Gary, that's easy enough.
So I'll wait for you to get up here. Okay?
Well, let's
Oh, no,
wait
I'm sorry.
for her to.
Yeah, she's fine.
Transcription.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you very much.
You're
folks. I
welcome.
really appreciate it.
We'll see you down there,
Okay.
as Daryl would say. See you on the street.
Ooh,
This is right up your alley.
yeah, that black and white. My closet's ridiculous, black and white, black and white.
You said closet like it's singular.
What?
You said closet like you only have one.
I only had one until, unfortunately.
Hi, my name is Hyang
You
Shin.
have a whole room.
Hyang. Yeah, my name is Hyang Shin.
Thanks.
Thanks for inviting me for presentation. And I first started my women's clothing business in Palm Desert Street Fair, 1998, which is 22 years. So before 2012, my main merchandise was just shirts, cotton shirts. And people asked me if I sold the bottom, the pants, to match my top. And some people just brought their tops to find the matching bottom. So I thought if I had the pants, I can sell it more, or I can sell it as a set. So I've been to Las Vegas show to find the pants. But I've been there for 3 years, but I found only 3 places to sell pants only. Most of the places, they sell the top and bottom, or just top, probably 800 places. So I couldn't find what I was thinking. So I thought, oh, I had to make it. So this is about my pants, travel pants. So number 1 is comfortable fit. It's high rise for middle-aged women who like to travel and play golf. And second, like a technical fabric, very, very nice fabric. So this is stretchy, no wrinkle, and it's machine washable, and very easy to carry, and very nice. So number 3, unique design. I got this design from my yoga pants. So I have 2 designs. One is cut out, the other is pocket. So one is very casual, the other is very dressy. So since I sold my pants 2015, I have been getting a lot of positive feedback. So people, they bring their friends and their family, and they just explain how is the pants about. So I didn't need to explain about that. So the first I started to make these capri pants, and people asked me to make the long pants. So now people ask me to make the shorts, so I made these shorts this season. So I'm looking forward to introducing my travel pants to more traveler in VillageFest.
So will you be
Thank you.
selling just pants?
Now, yeah, I'm here. I want to sell just pants.
Just
This
pants.
is just my display,
Okay. But you
and I
don't
just want to sell just
But you don't
pants.
sell the tops?
No,
Okay.
this top I don't make it. I make only just bottom.
Okay.
So I've been wearing these pants for 2 years. Looks like a brand new.
Anybody have any questions?
I want to see the booth.
Yeah, I want to see the pictures too.
How many do you produce? How many do you produce? How many people work for you, and how many do you produce?
I have one. I am before when I started 2015. I do everything by myself. Then more people want that, and I have friends to help me. The one more. So during the summer season, I'm not busy that much. So I make my pants in the summertime in my garage like 2-3 days a week.
Anybody else?
It looks like there's a label cut off behind the label that's there. What was that label?
Oh, why is that? This is from this fabric is from South Korea. So first I got the label I made in South Korea. So now I make this in America. So I cut it made in Korea. That's why. Yeah. I show you. This is original. It says made in Korea, but I don't make in Korea.
But if the label was on there, why was it on there if you made it here?
And why would it say made in Korea if you're making it here?
I made the label like a 1,000, that's minimum, but I still have to use it. But that was made in Korea, but that's not made in Korea. I make this here. So I cut it the made in Korea.
So, but my question is,
Yeah.
if you made it here,
Yes.
why would you put on a label that said made in Korea?
The first time I made that in Korea.
But you've been here since 1998, right, doing this?
I've been to Korea to find this fabric. And the first I started to make, my sister has the clothing business, so she helped me a lot. And she gave me the label, she has it. So I can show you the label here.
No,
it's made in.
Yeah, it's just a little confusing
Uh-huh.
if you've been here as long as 1998 and
Yeah.
you've made all of these,
Uh-huh.
that you would put on a label that said made in Korea and then
Uh-huh.
cut it off.
Because
How many of these labels you have left that you have to use up?
I still have like 200 pieces, the label, but now I can, when I make a new one, I have to write down made in USA.
Where do you make them at?
In my garage right now. But I buy this, the fabric from Korea because I couldn't have found this fabric in America. So I import this fabric.
Right, but the fabric comes on a roll?
Yeah, roll.
So then, but these have a second label cut out. If the fabric comes on a roll?
Fabric comes out with roll. I order this label separately. But that time, I thought this fabric is made in Korea, so I did made in Korea, and my sister gave it to me.
I think anyone in the clothing business knows that the made in indicates where it's manufactured. It has nothing to do with where the fabrics come from. Many fabrics come from the Far East and come from Europe, but they don't say made in Italy if you're using an Italian fabric and you're tailoring it here. So to be honest, I have a little bit of a concern about that.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think what will really help us out, I think we need more information. The reason why is because we're looking at this commercial invoice packing list, and we're seeing that it's for fabric, and it's, so for example, a quantity of 550, a unit price is 280. It doesn't, that unit price could be for, it doesn't say what it's for. We need to see, I think what would be helpful is when we look to actually see these bolts of material, what does the 280 stand for? Does 280 stand for per pants, or does it stand for per yard? There's no
definition.
There's no definition. So although we got all the information with you showing your details, how you're doing this, what you're doing, so it's very detailed in here. When we get to the receipt of goods, that's where I'm at a loss. I don't see the connection of buying the bolts of fabric because the unit price is $280.
This is the swatch
Yeah.
I buy, and every year I started, the first I started 2 colors. Then every year I add more color. So I order one of this.
Yeah.
So the 2018, I order like 7, 8 different color. So
One more thing.
this is the swatch I
Okay,
ordered.
I think if we have more supporting information, maybe if you're able to provide more supporting information to our staff here, as far as the your vendor here and images of the material. Right now, it's looking like the unit prices for a individual item, not for a bolt of fabric, and so that's where the disconnect. The reason why we bring this up is because this is, it's an artist street fair. Everything has to be 75% handmade, and so it's unfair to the
By the merchant.
other artists to have people bringing in importing goods. So it has to be proven that the goods are not imported, and so that's what we're seeking. We're just wanting to make sure that the goods are not imported. Right now, this commercial invoice doesn't spell it out to us, so we need more information on
I'm going
that.
to show you one sample.
I'd like to be able to table this for another.
Well, and I also have a question about if that label was cut out because you made it when you were in Korea, or it came from Korea.
shouldn't be selling it here.
Did it take you haven't sold that since 1998? So
I
that.
started make that 2015. This is the first one I made.
Wait.
Yes.
If you started making that in 2015, then why would you put a Made in Korea label on it?
That time I got the label. I made that label 1,000 pieces. So I still use it. So
That doesn't make
after-
sense. That does not make sense to me. If you made it in the United States,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that you would attach a Made in Korea label just because you had them.
And you've been in the College of the Desert for a long time. That you should have sold out from that already.
Exactly.
Yeah, if that's the case, it doesn't make sense at all.
I think we need to table this.
I think we need to table this and just bring it for further discussion, and then if we require further documentation or information, then staff
I-
can reach out to the merchant.
As I said, if we were to further understand this, I think that we could have ongoing discussion. But right now, it's looking like it's $280 per piece. So, do you recall looking at this? I know you get a lot on your table. Do you guys remember looking at this invoice? Okay, so on it says quantity 550, and this says unit price 280, and it's all the different fabric colors. But it's like what we need to understand is like, is the 280 is it for an individual
Bolts of
piece, or is it
fabric.
bolts of fabric?
The
And
yarn,
so-
by yarn.
Yeah, so.
Yarn,
doesn't say
Yeah,
that, though.
the
so I
yarn,
think if she
yeah.
were to reach out to her supplier to provide more information on this, I think that would help us.
I don't think it's going to still address the question of where they were made.
It says that
Well, the pictures show her making it.
Korea.
Can I see
Yeah,
one
this
garment
is the
again,
first
please?
I
Just for making
saw.
something else, actually, it was gray flannel.
I picked the wrong color first time.
You can't tell from the receipt. Let me show you.
I
Pictures
think
show, but the receipt.
Well, the picture actually shows something being made, and it looks like it's a flannel fabric, like an oatmeal
yeah,
or
this is the
gray
first time
flannel.
I made it, and the
not-
sewing
it's an
skills are
old-
not
it's an
very
old
good.
picture.
Sport fabric. Yeah, I know, that's not, yeah. You're right about that, that is right.
That one isn't. The rest of them are not written like that. Dottie, the rest of them are not like that.
They're not all the same.
They're not all the same. In fact, that has a different label on it, too.
It says Made in Korea.
This one says made in Korea.
Yeah. See, you've got this,
No, it just remained, it should have.
Yeah, that one from the original.
see, you've got this on here.
Yeah,
That's,
this is original.
that's the problem, you see.
But if it's original, that means you've had it in stock since 1998, which
This one I started 2015.
is not, that doesn't jive. for
Recently
me.
made.
I think we should- I agree
So I think
with
it's
you,
just-
Randy, we should table
I
this.
think we
Well,
make a
table it, or
motion to
we,
deny.
We need more
So,
information.
yeah, so why don't we table this vendor, and then staff will work with the vendor on additional product,
Okay.
different additional information that you need to make an informed
So
decision.
we'll table it, and
Yeah.
then you'll carry it
And-
through from here.
And as I was saying, I think it'd be great to
we
see
can't make a decision
most
without
recent
seeing
work.
more.
That way, we don't, this tag situation is a concern.
Okay,
So.
so I need to make a motion that we're gonna.
So I make a motion that we table this vendor for further information and make sure that it's brought back to the board.
I
Okay.
second.
Okay, all those in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no, okay. Thank you. Yeah, the labels gave her away. Okay. Right, the next one, a minute. The next one is Satori Silk Arts. Carla, Lars. Arts and Crafts.
Same as me.
Hello.
56.
How are you? Good afternoon. Okay. Oh, beautiful.
Really pretty.
Looks like Venetian
Is
paper.
this the one with the silk?
With the
They
same
make it in the,
But I never saw it on the street.
Oh, sometimes they come in.
There you go. Thank you, sir. There's more.
thank you. Yeah, this is the one that they soak. We had somebody, didn't we?
It looks like Venetian paper. You know the Venetian paper that they?
Julie, didn't we have somebody 6 months or so ago do it?
Yes.
But I never saw her on the street.
No, they were there once, I think, and didn't make it.
Okay.
So hi, I'm Carla Layers. This is Gary McPherson, and we have Satori Silk Arts. I'm assuming you're Faith. Hi. Our business is a little bit different because we're bringing an opportunity for the customers to make the silk scarves, to practice the artwork. So it's definitely, yes, it is crafty, and I'm more of a crafty than an arty person, I would say, and I love this. So what happens is we get the raw silk scarves, we treat them, we take them out, and we have a video to show you of how it works. And what happens is in about 20 minutes, you can make a scarf with your own pattern. You float the paint on some medium. We have combs to rake it. You've probably seen, remember marbled books, how the bookends would be marbled and stuff like that? You can create that pattern with rakes. Super simple, super easy. You pick the colors that you want, whatever, you know.
Where are you from?
We're in Hemet right now. We're
You're in Hemet?
retired.
We had
So
had
we're-
a person doing this once before.
Really?
Mhm.
And they're not doing it anymore? That's a little disappointing.
Did they ever go on the street, the people that we had once before?
They had other things they did also.
Oh, okay.
It was like cornhole.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, the
How do these
cornhole.
hold up to getting wet, or if you sweat on your neck and
They're
wrap it around?
actually, they hold up well because what you do is after, we'll show you the picture. So you float the paint, the silk has a fluid on it that what it does is it grabs the paint,
Mm-hmm.
you pick it up, the paint's attached, rinse it, you get out any loose paint,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happens is you let it dry, and when you iron it, that melds it onto the
Wow.
scarf.
Yep.
It is a delicate scarf, it is silk, so you want to be just washing it lightly, you don't want to be throwing it in the washing machine.
But it's
You
hand
wash
washable and
it.
doesn't bleed.
It's hand washable with like Woolite, and in fact, these, the ones, they're soft, I think all of these are soft, they've been in fabric softener,
Yeah.
so, yeah. You
So
just,
do you do the whole process, including the ironing, or do you give it to them wet and
So,
they take it home wet?
here's what we
or-
do, yeah. We get them like that, we launder them, we iron them all. I have pictures of him standing at the ironing board watching television.
Is there a folder? There's a folder.
Then we take the raw silk one, so the ones that are plain, where's that?
The white one there, yeah.
Like this. When the person floats the paint on the tray, we hold it over the tray and slowly lower it into the paint. It grabs it, we pick it up, and voila. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty like a wow moment. People love it. I love it. I did it 3 years ago, and it's been in my head ever since.
No, but I mean, so night of, somebody says, I'm going to do a scarf, and they dip it in the paint, and then do you wait for it to dry and
No, we
iron
do
it
not.
for them? Okay,
I'm
so they
sorry.
take it home in what condition?
What happens is we fold it up, we put it in a little Ziploc, along with that card, oops, we need to pass those out, along with a care card that tells you what to do with it to take care of it.
Okay.
It dries really fast because it's a thin
Because
silk.
it's
Then you have to
silk,
go
so
home
you
and
hang
iron
it.
again.
Well, you have to go home
You hang
and
it over the
treat it.
tub, and it'll drip dry a little bit, and yeah, then you can iron it.
Fun.
Yeah, I've
Yeah, it
done
is, you know what, it's super fun.
How many will you have going?
Pardon me?
How many trays will you have going?
We have 3 trays. We'll probably have a demo tray because we do need to show people what it is, especially initially, with 2 trays working. We can do probably 2.5 to 3 an hour. So
And
it does
pricing?
$45
2.5 scarves an hour?
per tray.
Oh,
So we
okay,
have 3 trays. So
okay.
we're not going to be doing, we're not
A
going to be
lot.
mass producing this. I
Right.
mean, people need to be guided through the process. You know, they want to be successful when they're making something, but I will tell you, even if it's a mess, once you put a comb on it, you can get something really,
beautiful.
really marvelous. And that's the amazing part of it. It's really fun. If Gary wants to turn this around, he can show you a little video. This is from
we don't have the monitors to play with.
This is actually perfect.
These are from the people who we trained with, so they're letting us use their video. Oops.
Is this the only shaped scarf that you have, or is there a different?
Right now, this is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, look at that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It definitely draws a crowd.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a line
Yeah.
at your booth.
This is year round, too. Yeah, we have issues with heat in the
He
summer,
doesn't.
We all have issues with the heat.
just like us.
You weren't the only one.
It's not good for you guys, yeah. Faith or Jasmine, are there any issues for us having raw paint on the street, like working something like this?
We've
Okay,
had-
okay, cool, perfect.
Okay.
Really cool.
Okay, this is for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though they're not doing it.
That's fun.
That's our,
That's a lot of fun.
It does,
Agricultural
it's
entertainment.
interactive. though.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's totally fun.
Yeah.
all right, does anybody have any questions?
Not at all.
Fine.
Something for somebody to do. Fun.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Let me have a motion.
I move we accept this vendor.
Second?
Any discussion? None? All right.
One
Go
thing,
ahead,
I
sure.
did just want to say one thing, and that is just for people to understand, not you, because you do, the difference between the label on their silk scarf.
Yes, no,
We got it, we got it.
Yes,
That's
but I
right,
want to
yeah,
make sure
they're
that
blank
other
canvas,
people,
yes.
maybe the public
Oh,
understands
yes,
what
yes,
that
yes, yes, yes.
difference
Right,
was, is
right.
that you
It's a-
are using the scarf
it's a
as
canvas.
your canvas.
That's right.
Not, it's not
Exactly.
just the
Yeah.
fabric. Like, if you wanted to just sell that, you
Wouldn't
would
happen.
also not
Now,
qualify.
we do sell these because we're demoing
Well,
a
you
ton of
totally made them, though.
And
That's
sometimes
different.
people don't want to do the experience, they just want to buy the scarf.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we're-
that's great.
we are
So you'll
doing
have
that
them
too.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both. We'll probably have inventory of
Right.
probably 20 to 30 scarves at any given time.
And is the pricing the same if you make it yourself, or? if
Price
it's-
the same.
Okay.
I'm hoping we're going to have a few more things we'll be able to bring to you guys because people are doing all kinds of fun things with these.
How
For
about some
example, like in
kimonos?
October, they're doing mini pumpkins,
Kimonos,
they're doing
baseball
Christmas
hats.
ornaments.
Oh, cute.
Candles.
Well, come up with them and bring them back
Nice.
before
I want to
us.
make earrings.
and-
I'm pretty excited about
Okay,
marbled paper,
cool.
so.
All right,
Perfect.
all right, we've had a motion, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah,
have.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, there you go.
Thank you.
Welcome.
See you
Welcome.
on the street.
Beautiful. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
What a fun way to retire.
All right, the next one is Mystic Valley CBD. Amy Weeksley Lynn? I always, yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna pass out some spoons so you can try the product if you want.
Try them.
What's the percentage of CBD in that?
It's 26 to 1. Is the
Do you have THC in it?
26 to 1. It's non-detectable. It's from hemp, below the threshold of 0.3. And I did send the tests. I sent the tests, but
Do you have this, do you have the lab results with you?
I do.
Okay.
Great. Yeah.
And where do you make it?
We have a production facility in Colorado.
Are you not from
and
Oregon?
No, Colorado.
Okay.
We have a co-op of 10 farms there. We are USDA certified organic for production and growing. We did rent a building down here that we're remodeling the kitchen, and we're going to
Palm
start
Desert?
doing, start doing production down here. But we haven't done that yet. We gotta get that certified organic, so it has to be painted and re-floored. It turned out the floor wasn't acceptable either.
Okay, so these are the tries. Maybe I'll start one on each side.
So when you manufacture here in California, will you be importing the flour product from
Yes.
out of state? Okay.
I'd love to have him.
So what is
Can't
that?
These, let me get on the mic.
You know what, you can carry that around and talk, it'd be easier.
I don't recommend that if there's THC in it.
So what I'm passing
I don't even know what
around
it
is
I'm not
two different creams. One is a cocoa butter, shea butter base that he's got right now. And then the other one is an aloe vera juice base with cranberry, raspberry, and blueberry extract. This one's a thinner one. Gentlemen kind of prefer this one because it absorbs very quickly. Good also for putting under your clothing if your neck hurts or something. That one's a little more substantial, more moisturizing.
And you're a sales rep, is that?
Yeah.
For a gentleman who owns this company?
Yeah.
Okay, I know him.
So is this under arts and crafts?
No, it's not an arts and
I was
crafts.
gonna say, what, if it's made by a production company, it's not a,
Two girls, they rep it in College of the Desert too.
okay, so it's not a,
What is his name? I forget his name.
These are
Yeah,
separate
he
from
has
the
a dog.
folder because these were hers and that's our
A
folder.
blue-eyed
So
husky.
this appears not to be classified
That's why
correctly.
if you want to try both.
Yeah.
there's the lid, I don't know where.
Now, last time I talked to Eric, he was going into Costco. Is he still going into Costco?
Yeah. Yeah, we're still
And
working on that. That's a huge, huge deal. So we also do, besides the creams that you're trying right now, we also do it infused into an oil. And when I sell this to people, I tell them that the creams are for 7 and under pain, and the tinctures are for 7 and over. And that's how I use it. I will use the creams for arthritis in my knees, for hiking, general discomfort. But sciatica, which is a 9, I'll use the oil. The oils vary from 500 milligrams to 1,500 milligrams. And we also do it in a coconut oil infusion. And this is 2,500 milligrams. All of these are batch tested and confirmed to be, under the 0.3, and they're way under that, actually.
So I'm just a little confused here because this says arts and crafts, but this is not made by an individual. This is made by a company.
Right.
So that
This
would
is made actually by me in our production facility in Colorado. We just happen to have a building because we have 10 farmers. So we all grow and then we all process together, and then everybody gets their oil and does whatever they want with it. And so what we do with it is make these products.
Pictures of her actually making it?
Did you see it? I didn't see
I'm
it.
sorry, I might have missed it. I was anxious.
Oh, we can't take.
Yeah, it is confusing.
We can't take samples. So.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is confusing to me. This is not like a
Well,
standalone
because
business.
arts and
It's
crafts
a,
is a category in this kind
it's
of.
a,
We
What
are a
would be the
standalone,
appropriate
actually. It's
category
just the farm
Same as we
that
put
is the
Avon
co-op.
under, I would
it
say.
is a, but
It's arts and crafts.
Just the
But
farm.
what would be the category?
Just the
Because
farms
this
are
is arts and crafts, and this is not arts and crafts.
This is
Well, what the board decided they were going to categorize all CBD vendors under was regular VillageFest guidelines, which means the product needed to be 75% handmade by the vendor, which is why it says arts and craft, because it should fall under a craft vendor, which the product is at least 75% handmade by them. So that's how the board has approved CBD vendors in the past. So I understand the confusion, as I'm a little confused as well. I thought that this vendor owned a farm and made their own product, and then there was mention
That's
of
true.
you
That is
resell,
true.
you
We
selling
just
for
haven't-
someone.
No, I mean, I'm just in a partnership with Eric.
You're a
That's all. I'm
salesperson
just
for him.
I'm
Okay, so
just
it's like a
presenting.
salesperson is different than,
Yeah.
like, I'm making this product myself and now
I
I'm.
am making this product myself. I sent
there
you the
pictures
videos.
of
I
her
am
making
actually
it
the
herself?
formulator.
Okay,
I formulate this product. I just happen to be, because we're tiny, I'm
Well-
selling at the market too.
You're not
And
tiny if
hopefully not
you have a
forever.
contract with Costco.
Well, I mean, it's hasn't happened yet.
Right,
so-
but I know Eric.
He hired the lady, the agent who is a buyer's agent.
And you
maybe?
sell at College of the Desert, correct?
Yeah.
I have a
Okay.
question for staff. If something's made out of state, it can be sold at the event?
So the only item that is, well, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, okay.
Someone could make a product in Oregon and sell
Yep.
it out here
Okay.
at the event, absolutely, yes.
Okay. And then next question is, do we have pictures of I didn't get your name again, I'm sorry. Amy. Do we have pictures of Amy making the product? I'm not seeing it in here. I didn't get the video.
I didn't get the videos
You
either.
didn't get a video? Oh,
Oh.
with the email?
With
I
the
didn't see
I don't know, I had trouble with my
I
email
didn't get
this
an
time.
email.
I don't know why.
The email
with the agenda
I got that, but I didn't get it.
I didn't get videos.
All the videos were linked in.
I wonder.
It was technology, hold on.
Yeah, I might have missed that video.
Do you have it?
Let's just double
I mean,
check.
if you want me to show you one, I have it, obviously.
Yeah, just, that way they can see.
Is he pulling it up?
Again, this goes back to this is an artist fair. That's why, and we have to follow the rules. This is the
this
only
almost
reason why
sounds
we
like
go
a
through all these
distributorship.
questions.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, and this is, the
That's
whole
my
spirit.
problem.
yeah. So the spirit of Village Fest is like, local artisan crafts. That's the idea of it, right? That's how it was born, and that's what we try to keep it to be. So that's why we are a little, we apply scrutiny to things that are, A, not made locally, second, made in mass with,
I mean, this is a
in
big
conjunction with other
production.
people. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
this is a big production,
This
so.
is a big
With
production.
with a
This is-
contract coming up from Costco, it takes a lot of people
Well,
and
yes,
manufacturing to
yes.
do something
Even
like
the
that.
pictures show there's,
Yes.
quite a bit of people.
Once we
It's
get
like
there,
it's
we
distributor.
we haven't gotten there yet.
It's still manufactured.
The guidelines of what we are looking for.
Let's take
because
a
It does
vote.
feel more like a distribution.
Anybody else have any more questions?
It feels very manufactured to me, and I think that we need to take a vote.
Amy, are you local?
Yeah, I'm wintering here.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've been
a lot of people.
going
Okay,
back to
gotcha.
Colorado for
Got it.
farming.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I
Okay.
thought he was from Oregon.
Colorado.
Colorado, you keep saying Oregon, it's Colorado.
Yes, I do say Oregon.
Amy, could you walk back that one thing where you said a group of people
Yeah.
manufacture together and then you divide it up, once it's all there?
This is how, it's kind of like this, it's a registered co-op of farmers. So we all have our own farm, and then we
Yeah.
join together.
Too
We
big of a
join together
production.
to get the USDA certification, because it's $50,000. And we join together to get the USDA production certification, and then we rent a building together where we all process what we grew.
But you
And we're
pick your
all-
own stuff and you carry it into the
Correct.
building and it doesn't get
Yes.
mixed with
Yes.
anybody else's.
No.
And nobody else works on yours.
No.
But
But
if
what
you're
about the
wintering here, how are you
volunteers?
making your product?
Yeah, how's it happening
What,
now?
what about the
Yeah.
volunteers that are mentioned in your package that you call angels of something?
Agents
And
of change, yeah, they
yeah.
are, we use them to help us grow and harvest and possibly produce.
Yeah.
But not come up with the formulas and, I do have people that help me put the stuff in bottles or,
Yeah, this is
Pick the
too big of a
plan.
production.
It's a
Are you
production.
already out in COD?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see, that's the venue, I think, is right for you.
And can I
ahead.
just say one thing, and that's that it has nothing to do with it having CBD in it. This could be any product at all that
Right.
we are discussing. If
It could
somebody,
be moisturizer.
right.
Right.
It could be anything. Really. So I just think it's important also for the public to understand that it doesn't have anything to do with this specific product, but rather how
Manufacturing.
it's being made and.
Right.
It's the production and manufacturing
yes.
in multiples and
All right,
with multiple staff.
let's do a motion, do a regular motion, then we'll vote the way, okay. Let me have a motion.
What would we
I
do?
move that
Well-
you don't accept this vendor.
Okay, we can do it that way.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
I wish you would have watched my video, you could have seen me in there making it.
I watched it.
Don't put your iPad. That's my iPad. Oh.
Too big.
Don't take Jasmine's iPad.
Too big of a company.
Jasmine's iPad. Well, thanks for
Okay.
your time.
Okay,
Thank you.
Amy, thanks for your interest.
All right. guess that's it with coming up with us. Okay, the next one is Prickly Pear Boutique.
They're here?
No,
Prickly Pear is not here?
no, they're,
We were taking a motion.
we're going to be discussing it. Jasmine?
Here, I don't want to be whispering with Jasmine over here. I just want to say, though, I just think that it is really important
Yeah,
that
it's
in
a
any of
big
these
production.
cases, that we just deal with, you know, with the rules. It doesn't matter what the contents especially were at all, just that, you know, it has to be
Well, I don't think
handcrafted
any
by
of
the
us were
person.
concerned about the content at all. It was more about the.
Oh, I was.
Yeah, the
manufacturing.
production part of it.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
just to be clear, that.
Yeah.
All right,
Just
let's go on to 5L. No, it's I.
Alright.
Okay, Prickly Pear.
Right, so we added this item back onto the agenda because it wasn't on our agenda for a full discussion at the last meeting.
Right.
We were missing Joy, who I wanted to make sure had an opportunity. She did review the meeting, and she was able to speak with the merchant downtown. So I wanted to give her an opportunity to speak. And also, you know, it's been a couple weeks, see if the board had any other items that they wanted to discuss in terms of the vendor who presented to you at your last board meeting.
Okay.
So I did have a chance to speak with him, and I didn't actually realize that it was on here, and honestly, I don't think that he didn't seem to realize it was on here. He just said that his second booth was suspended, but he did not say that he was coming back to this meeting. So-
Interesting that he phrased it as his second booth.
Well, he probably didn't say that. I'm saying it.
Are you
And
sure?
I am sure of it. I mean, really, I think, and what I suggested to him after I did watch the meeting, and it seemed that there was some emotions, you know, or something happening, I suggested to him that maybe he put everything on paper, as far as if he felt that maybe he wasn't describing things as well as he would have liked to in this meeting. So I suggested to him that maybe he put in writing and send it to staff to share with the board, and that maybe he could get his thoughts out better. So I told him that I thought that Prickly Pear was a clothing boutique, and he said that it is not a clothing boutique. So that, and I just felt that the name told me that it was, but he said that it's not a clothing boutique.
It is. It totally is.
Well, I have
I've
not been
in-
there.
I've been in there. It's
Okay, all right.
Where's it located?
98% clothing.
South Palm
And I thought
Kennedy.
they had applied as a clothing.
They
company.
did,
had.
they
Yeah, I
did.
recall that
I mean,
terminology.
Jasmine
Can I
and
see that?
Faith,
'Cause
did you,
I didn't see it.
did you talk to Joy about what was transpiring down on the street, what you observed, what other people, the back and forth?
Correct, yes. I did have a conversation with Joy in regards to their booth completely transforming from one week to the next, of having completely clothing items, and then the next week it was completely home-based items, that they did have the first vendor, what's it?
Terra Gallery.
Terra Gallery cards inside the Prickly Pear booth. So there were multiple weeks of conversations with this vendor in terms of trying to get it transitioned back into what it was originally approved for, prior to them even coming back before the board. So yes, I did have a conversation with Joy and explained what had happened multiple times on the street and what we had done to try and correct it before we even asked him to come back to you.
Did you also explain his attitude on the street
I did.
towards the staff? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think most of the board members, and I'm included in that, I think that this is just his way of trying to get more than one booth, as he tried to do before, to do both things. And, I mean, my problem with the man is, first of all, his attitude when he was here. It was like he was doing us a favor as a downtown merchant, and the street belonged to him. That's the opinion that I got from him. I don't know about the rest.
And, you know, to add to that even more so, you know, he was a little inappropriate with his tone, and we had to address that while he was speaking.
I watched.
But beyond that, clearly, there's merchandise that was taken from Terra Gallery and was being displayed on the table of Prickly Pear Boutique. That's undisputable if you went to the two tables, if you've been to the two stores, and if you saw the tables before and after, it all of a sudden made a transformation. So that was clear. So that's really the issue at hand. You know, the fact that he did not respond necessarily in a friendly manner, or whatever you want to call it, an appropriate manner, that's another issue, of course. But the main issue at hand here is that they're using this booth to display as a second venue for the Terra Gallery
Yeah.
merchandise. And that's absolutely clear, whether or not we argue the point with him over a table. That's clear.
It's a clothing store.
I have a question unfortunately I was not here, but, so, just to clarify, staff has asked that the merchant to remove products that were not part of his store, and this is week after week after week, or 2 or 3 weeks in a row, or over a period, and they did not do that.
Correct. What they
And
did was, they
And
pulled,
attitude.
you can see, we took a photo of the week after.
Yeah.
They pulled one rack of clothing out and placed it out, but still about 90% of their booth are the items that they had not been approved for by the board.
And they also took a few items from Terra Gallery and started to display them in the clothing store. There was a rooster on top of where the dresses
Yeah.
were hanging and stuff like things like that.
It was a very disrespectful meeting with him, and he did not respect our people here or us as well.
Or the people in the street.
Can I ask, who took that picture of Prickly Pear? So that wasn't what he submitted, that was,
And I will say
that looks like a clothing store.
Yeah, it is a
So,
clothing store.
so I
It's
would
a
like to
clothing store.
backtrack.
You know what?
I was telling you more of my conversation
Yeah,
with the
well-
gentleman. I have not been in that store,
Okay.
but that's a lovely clothing boutique.
It is, it's a beautiful store, but I think if we okayed Prickly Pears coming back again, he's just going to get very clever. And he's going to start taking stuff from his store and put it in there, because we kind of told him we'd be checking that.
I got a
Well,
question.
we can't check every
Hold on,
single week.
Just 1 second. So there was one other thing as well, which is that the young lady who was with him clearly stated that when we first opened, we had a lower clothing line, and we've been upping the profile of the clothing line. Therefore, we have some very expensive clothing that we don't want to display on the street. Clearly said that. So if the product in their store is not something that they would display on the street,
So
then
why
why a
have
booth?
a
I'm
booth?
sorry, Daryl, I stole
No,
the floor.
that's good information to know, because essentially what I'm hearing is that this person has violated rules and regulations by being aggressive and unruly with staff, being aggressive and unruly with the board. So that in itself is, I mean, I would
Right.
imagine that in itself is reason to suspend from the Village
Right.
Fest. And we're going to go in circles with this gentleman as well.
Yes, constantly.
Which booth are you talking about? Because he
Prickly,
has-
no, this
Just this
has
gentleman.
just Prickly
Well,
Pear
he's
booth
Terra Nova
that we
is
have
Prickly Pear.
suspended.
Behaving like that.
And I think, I don't know the rest of the board, but I think, putting them back on the street, it's just going to continue the same, and
I
we
make a
can't, we
motion.
May I-
can't
may I
police
make
it every single.
One motion,
Yeah, go ahead.
not a motion, I just want to comment, is I think that he should be suspended totally for right now, and then in a couple weeks.
When you say he,
Both of them.
Prickly,
Oh, you mean both?
I think both of them until he can get the act
Well-
together and then bring one back if that's what, and then maybe he might have an attitude adjustment because I kind of felt he felt like he
well,
owned the
he
street.
does.
I think, if I can recommend this too, just to add to what you're saying, we need to cite it from Village Fest rules, the rules that he's violating, and let him know that he's suspended, and then in turn, provide a certain period of time that he's suspended for, and then have him come back to re-jury.
Why are we suspending instead of revoking?
You're right,
Clearly,
you're right, you're right.
They already said that they do not want the clothing that's in their store on the street because it's too high-end or too
Yeah.
delicate, whatever. So, period, that store itself, Prickly Pear,
Should be gone.
should be revoked.
You're right.
I'm not
For
sure
that
that I
reason alone.
agree with
With-
suspending Terra Gallery because it didn't come into play here.
No, it didn't. And
Really?
let me just say another thing too about that. I mean, we have a letter that's going out to all the vendors, warning them Now, he has not gotten that letter,
We'll remind
as
you.
nobody else has. So, which says if you mistreat any staff members, especially on the street, you know, there's consequences, and one of the consequences can be you're off.
Revocation
But he
or
never has
suspension.
gotten, that letter has not gone out yet. So, yeah, I know.
Yes, I agree with that, and it is just in our general rules and regulations of professional behavior towards
Right.
staff, towards guests, towards your own staff and your
Yeah.
booth. I mean, that's just a
We're
general.
not a corporate employer that
Yeah.
we have to give 3 warnings
Yeah.
before termination, quite
These rules are
frankly.
plain and clear for him, and I think that
Yeah.
he's violated those rules
Well, I
completely.
just think he was trying to play the system.
But there's so many
Well, yes,
people
and
that
we know
have
that.
art products that want a place, you know, and would be happy to have a booth instead of
Yep.
being argumentative about 2 booths.
Go
Well,
ahead.
there's also street merchants that would like to be on the street and have product from their store that they would put on the street.
We were also going to talk about.
So
There's
to
another-
have,
that's another
let me finish
subject
real
coming
quick.
up.
But just to not put your own product on the street, that's a huge violation of our rules.
I mean, how does staff feel about suspending him also? I mean,
That's
it's
up
up
to the
to
board's
us.
discretion.
okay.
Well,
I
there
think
was one,
it's our decision.
I mean, his behavior, well, it's not just his behavior with us and with them, it was his attitude. It was his being very conniving to get what he wanted.
it was more the
Okay.
subversive,
Well,
yes,
because
that
he
was-
went to staff a long time ago and wanted more than one booth.
So the night
Go
that this
ahead.
happened, I was down there, they're over there on the corner, and I looked over, because Terra Gallery has been with the VillageFest for a long time, so I know what their booth looks like. And I was like, well, why is Terra Gallery here? So I walked over, Terra Gallery cards on the table, and the girl that runs the Terra Gallery booth at the booth. I'm like, why is she half a block up, or 5 booths over? She said, it's not Terra Gallery, it's Prickly Pear. And I said, well, Prickly Pear? And I was like, your cards even say Terra Gallery. Oh, that's our sister store. When they presented, they never said it was the same owner. No one ever said that.
No.
At the end of the night, staff watched them from the Prickly Pear roll their stuff back into Terra Gallery. It did not go into Prickly Pear, it went into Terra Gallery. So I know for a fact that that is where their merchandise is coming from.
He just found a unique way to
get
use
two
his
booths.
Until he was
Right.
confronted
wanted.
about the booth, did anyone know that it was the same?
So technically, he has broken the rules.
He also opened his kimono at the meeting by saying, when someone said, well, you can't have 2 booths for the same store. Well, I'll take 2 if you give it to me. I'll take 3 then.
He
We-
said,
we
no, he
get-
said,
yeah.
I'll take all you can give me.
Yeah. So that, I think he made his intentions very obvious at that point.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with you all that the behavior is unbecoming and it definitely violates the rules. But, you know, even if we go beyond that, this doesn't have to be disciplinary. Really, the issue is he was gaming the system and gained a second booth, which you cannot do for the same store by misrepresenting to a different store.
So can we
And
just
saw
take a
him
vote? I think
return.
we
Well,
discussed this
I think
enough.
we killed it
Yeah, I
enough.
want to, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
I don't agree
Beat the dead.
Well,
that there's any reason for
We-
suspension.
all right,
It's not a
let's-
discipline problem.
Let's deal first with Prickly Pear. Let's do a motion about to suspend.
I
no,
move that
not
we
the-
revoke the
Their privilege.
the privilege of being on Village Fest by Prickly Pear. Or from
I
Prickly-
second that.
Can I ask, is that indefinitely, or is there a time limit on that?
I say
Revocation.
indefinitely. That's what revocation.
Indefinitely.
Yep. Not suspension.
All in
All
favor?
those in favor of that?
Aye. Anyone opposed?
No. Okay, now the
Terra Gallery.
the other, the
I'm
Terra
sorry, you
Gallery.
cannot do that at this meeting. It has not
It
been
has
not
to
on
be
the
on- it has
agenda.
to be put on the
Sorry.
agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so let's put it on the
We'll put it on the
agenda for
agenda for
next
next time.
meeting.
Okay.
And then we will,
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
well, and then you just have one more signature of that letter that we need. Okay, all right.
One thing I did want to say, though, is it is a discipline thing.
Oh,
Actually,
is it?
it is actually a discipline
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it
You were
is.
saying that, you were saying because it isn't actually a discipline
I- oh,
thing, but it
Yeah.
is
It is.
because
'Cause
it's
he's
the
broke
same
the rules.
person, so.
Well, I misspoke. I probably meant that it's not a behavioral
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
We're not suspending him only for behavior. We're actually revoking him for violating the rules of his agreement to actually be a merchant.
Okay, so we'll put that on the
I'm
next
sorry, but
agenda,
thank
and
you
then
for
we'll
correcting me.
deal with that then. All right, that's good. All right, that solves that problem. Now, the next thing is downtown merchant category.
So at our last board meeting, the board asked me to add this category in so that we could have a discussion in terms of where we currently at, where we see ourselves in the future with the merchant category, and if it's time to have a discussion in terms of putting a cap on it, or possibly putting a cap and start rotating some of the downtown merchants. So staff added it to the agenda for discussion.
Good.
Well,
May I ask how many vendors there are? No, total vendors.
She has a percentage. We thought it was like 12%. The last time.
You gave it to us
Higher-
last week.
It was like
it's-
12%.
Joy, it's higher than
11.
we anticipated.
Because I heard at the meeting, when I listened to it, that you were saying 15%, but now I believe.
Yeah, I think it was around 12. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to get all the.
Yeah.
Do we know what that count is? What?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what's the capacity of Village Fest?
Yeah,
You have-
that too.
You have 147 general vendors. What's the capacity?
So capacity is a little bit over 200, but that also counts for some spaces that we kind of add in, right? So we have additional space that we can add at the end of the farmer's market. Sometimes we can kind of go around the corners. Typically, March-ish, we'll start to get to capacity. So Faith and I work on adding some spaces so we don't actually have to tell vendors that they can't participate, but that does sometimes happen.
Because this adds up to over 200.
Right, because we have vendors who are on rotation. So we account for all of our entertainment vendors, even though they are on rotation. Nonprofit vendors that are a bit on rotation, I think is only two.
Some commercial vendors.
And commercial.
Yeah.
Do we
There's
have
a
an
lot.
understanding of just the booths, though?
The last time you said that the food service was full at 27. My question is, if we found 2 or 3 food vendors that we really wanted to add, could we add them and shrink? No.
Not in the food court at this point. So,
But we have some food vendors down.
Right.
Well,
We do.
because
of the
they had
power
the
and water
choice.
Connectivity, is that why?
No.
No.
We could put some food service vendors outside of the food
I
court.
think we only have one right now outside the food court, Baja Springs, that's it.
And then tamales.
Right.
Yeah, we don't really, he's like, yeah.
Yes, they're so
He
good.
still falls in
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he
food
does,
service.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Those
so
are the only
yes, we
two.
could ideally, if our food service vendors are one of the most difficult vendors to place, which is why the food court was created, because we had a bit of an open space down there because the Hyatt's set further back. There was room for smoke and things of that nature. They take a little bit longer to get ready, so they get a little bit of extra time because we shut where we shut the street, the beginning part, so they have a little bit of extra time to start preparing so that they can have food actually ready
Right,
when
ready
the
when it
event
opens,
opens
yeah.
up. So, yes, we could find some spaces in the street if we needed to. It's just logistically a little bit difficult,
That's fine.
more
But it's
difficult
not
than.
as simple as just extending them further down the boulevard, just,
No, because then we start to get into a lot of
Can
clothing
we stick to
stores.
the merchants?
Yeah.
I think we're going to segue
Yeah.
Yeah.
off. Let's-
Okay.
we're in-
So
we're in-
could I-
get back to,
could we
you
get
know,
a-
I know, but that's
Some on the
another,
food court
something we
committee.
can discuss.
I have a quick question on the merchants, is on the booths. So we have outside of the food vendors and outside of the farmers market vendors, how many booths do we have from Amato up to, is it Barista?
Amato to Bristow.
Yeah, what's the
in
total
terms-
number of booths available?
I can't give you that off the top of my head. I'd have to actually go count on the site plan.
Gotcha.
Well, let's get back to the downtown merchants.
I think that was a
Well,
question. in
this is
relation to
leading into the
merchant.
discussion about downtown
Yeah.
merchants. Because I think all of us are aligned that there needs to be a cap so that we don't have.
Right.
It takes away from, when we put out both artists, I can speak for myself, we put out both artist items, the original art items, and we put out stuff from our store. And coming out there as originally as an artist booth, and then now putting stuff from the store, there's an awkwardness to it. It's I feel like it's almost a disservice to the people that are looking for artist items. So we try to keep it in line, but at the same time, it's like if we have too many stores out there, that's a challenge. But then there are some.
Changing the dynamic and the look of.
Yeah, it is changing the dynamic look, and that happened specifically in my booth, and we try to bring it more into into the look and feel of the Village
Well,
Fest.
I've had experience where I've met people that were interested in coming to street fair. and they'll, ask me, all right, what's the procedure? And I'll tell them, and I mentioned the 75%, and they said, oh, wait a minute, they'll go.
Yeah.
I walked that street.
Yeah.
There is a lot that aren't. I said, I know. I said, but they are downtown merchants, which is allowed. So I think now we're at the point that we should do a moratorium or a rotation so that this doesn't keep getting bigger and bigger.
And it just
And then
becomes a
changes
replication of
the
what's
whole
on the
look
street.
of the arts and crafts. That's,
Well, it just makes it an outdoor shopping mall.
Well,
which is
of what
we
you
don't
can
want.
find if you step right across the curb into their store.
Yeah.
Or down
I mean, the
street.
stores are open, and that's a great, people are walking, they do walk on the pavement. So whether we do a standby or a rotation, I don't know, that's what we
Yeah.
should discuss. But I think there should be now a limit.
Is there a vote on that? Do you
Well,
take a vote on that?
That's what we're discussing right now.
I'm sorry. What is that limit? What percentage is that?
Well,
where we
I
are
think
right
we're
now.
there
I think
now.
where we are right now.
Or do we say that we'll put a moratorium until we're at 10% or less?
I think we should
And
do
then
that.
cap it at 10%. I don't say where we are now, because we already said where we are now, it's already starting to cut into the look and feel. So we don't want to be where we are now, so we'll allow
No.
it. But as
Well, you gotta allow
as
what's
they
there
wane-
now.
Yes, but as people back out,
Don't refill.
yeah, I'd
Don't
say
refill
moratorium
until we get beyond
until we're
rates.
under 10%.
I totally agree with that, and I think that we need to understand the hard numbers as far as the number of booths that are available on the street. And then if say that the 12% right now is considering that there's empty booths, and then once we consider those booths, it drops to 9%, then we
Oh.
drop the moratorium down to 9%. That's why we need to understand the hard count of
That's a good
of
point, Kevin.
storefronts versus, because if we're in a downswing for booths right now, I couldn't imagine,
Well,
because we're going into.
And can't we, if a downtown merchant is interested, when we have capped it, and I don't know, they can still come before us and say, okay, if something opens up,
Yeah.
you're approved
Historically,
to go
how-
on the street.
How true is it that downtown merchants opt out of their booth? How often does that happen?
I had to take the month off.
No, I'm just talking about leaving the fair.
Most downtown merchants have been with us for years.
Yes,
They
so
come,
I
they
don't think,
they
I don't
stay.
think that value dips very much. I do think that the fair thins out when artists aren't there during the summer, but I think the merchants are there pretty stably. That's not even a word, stably.
So let's do a vote on that then,
So,
and cap it.
okay, so let's have a motion on that.
I move that we limit the downtown merchants to the current 12% or whatever.
No.
Maybe limit the merchants to the
Why don't you put
merchants that are
10,
already
makes
on
it
the street.
easier for 10.
Yeah, 10% cap, and we need
10%
to,
cap.
Yeah.
through attrition, and understand the numbers, the actual numbers, so that
Right.
we're not really, say, at 8%, and when we're in full swing,
Is
you
that
know.
your, so you do the motion?
Okay, so the motion would be to, sorry. Motion is to put a moratorium with a cap of 10%. We need to understand the numbers as far as the actual number of booths that would be available and the actual the current number of Main Street merchants. If that number happens to be less, like around 9%, then we need to reconsider. If it's at 12%, then the cap is still remains at 10%, and we wait for attrition to bring it down to 10%.
That was a long motion.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's basically, sorry.
All right.
So all in favor?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Was there no discussion?
Oh, yeah, sorry, discussion?
Oh,
Did you had
sorry.
discussion?
I might have a few things
Yeah,
to say.
Okay, go ahead.
So I do want to tell you that at the Main Street meeting this morning, we discussed this because I knew that was going to be on the agenda. And it wasn't really received that favorably. I think that it's very important to understand that the whole reason that VillageFest can exist is because of the partnership that VillageFest has with the downtown merchants, and that the downtown merchants could not really have an event in competition with the merchants 51 times a year outside of their businesses without that partnership. And it feels like what's happened here is that there might be some people that were upset based on what happened with a single vendor last week, and now you're making decisions on the entire event because that guy pissed you off.
I think there's.
That's not really the reason,
I think
though.
there's, yeah, my reasoning is, and I don't care about the guy from last week, but my reasoning is, we need to look like an artist festival and not a replication of the downtown merchants that have
No.
small booths outside of their stores. So it does become like a farmer's, not a farmer's market, but a
flea market.
a flea market. If you have merchants that have their doors open during Village Fest, and then they have a booth out in front, and we have too many of those, I think we lose the flavor of what the festival is.
And I wasn't here at
We're
last week's
losing the
meeting.
identity. Absolutely.
Real quick, so I wasn't here at last week's meeting, and I made that observation myself, that it's like we do have quite a few downtown merchants out there, and certain, especially when they're together. If they're side by side, it really starts to stand out. So, and maybe that's for staff to be able to take and start separating these downtown merchants. They may want to be in front of their store, but if there's two, and I'm talking about down towards my area, what's her name? That has the flashy next to Shamrock.
Oh, uh-huh.
Marianne's,
Yeah.
there's a
Mhm.
couple there. So it creates that look of a flea market. As nothing wrong with her merchandise. That's not what I'm not downgrading her merchandise, but it has that impact. So from my view, it's just maybe we look at, is 10% the right number? Should we come back and look at this with hard numbers? Should we have the discussion also with Main Street again to say, hey, this is, let's do a walk with Jeffrey and I can't remember the gentleman from Pomfrets and the people on your board. Do a walk and show them, and so we get alignment with Main Street, and then in turn, come back and make a motion to this. I understand. I don't think that we should create a situation where it's them and us between Main Street and this board, and especially being part of Main Street and being a Main Street vendor and a Main Street vendor and a Village Fest vendor.
Yes.
So I think we need to have that cohesion. So maybe we take back that what's that? Yes, and just we need to do more diligence and have a conversation with Main Street.
I have
bring
no
them out.
idea what you just said. You said a lot of nothing, but let's carry
So let me
on.
just-
May we take back what? Take back the motion?
Let's take
or-
back the motion, and I think that what we need to do is have Main Street involved a little bit more with this, to show them that this is an issue at hand. If they're not out there themselves seeing it as we're seeing it, we need to get alignment and not, I don't agree with voting through something and not having alignment with Main Street.
Okay, but I think you're being overly diplomatic, excuse me.
Go ahead.
And we are the board of Village Fest.
Correct.
Like you are the representative from Main Street. I think, yes, we need to maintain a partnership, but I think you two are skirting a little bit too much from my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
Carry on.
it's okay.
No, I mean, I'm the one making the motion saying, let's put a cap on it too.
Let me
So
just-
that's, but I'm saying, let's get
You
alignment.
totally walked it back.
Hold
Well, I
on,
walked
hold
back
on.
to say, let's get
Michael Jackson
alignment.
doesn't do that.
I would prefer to have alignment.
Okay,
Wait,
hold on,
wait.
let's let somebody else.
First
go.
of all,
Where is that not separate?
talking about the downtown merchant category was not in connection with prickly pears.
Not at all.
We-
Has nothing to do
We
with
were
it.
thinking about that long before, because we asked for that long before prickly pears came to us.
It's totally unrelated.
Because the downtown merchant situation has come to the attention of various board members like myself.
I never heard it before, so that was what
Yeah.
it seemed like in watching the video
Well,
of it. It seemed like that's where it came
It seems like it's
from.
connected, but it was not.
Okay.
We did not put this on the agenda because of prickly pear. It just
Mm-hmm.
happened to be that, but we asked for that.
Okay, I didn't know
from
that
him,
And
yeah,
I
a long
think,
time
I think a
ago.
10% amount is a decent amount of downtown merchants. It's not like it's 1%.
Well,
it's 10%.
I didn't know the percentage we were going to talk
Or
about
it's
today
12%,
when we had our board
actually.
meeting this morning or anything
Yeah,
either, so I didn't have all the
No, it had
facts
nothing
really to
do
discuss.
with his,
It did look like that
well,
on
of
the video.
course it looked like that. Unfortunately, I mean, he was like gangbusters, you know? And he was the gangbusters on the street.
Just now, what made you feel that it looked like that? Because it was during the
Because
same
they're-
meeting?
Yes, because it was an emotional meeting, there was some little bit of temper going on, and
Yeah,
then
there
that
was.
came up in the end. It did look like that, but if it wasn't like that, then I
Well,
definitely accept
one
that.
Did you notice on the video that this was handed out, the sheet that Chris has,
Yeah, this here.
right there. It was handed out at the beginning of the meeting, and it was something we were going to talk about before
I
that
did
gentleman
not.
ever got up and raised his voice.
I wasn't here,
Yeah.
so I was
No, but
watching
she
on the
said she watched the
video.
video.
I
I'm
did
asking
not
if you
see
know
that.
Okay.
And also the fact we couldn't talk about it because it was not on the agenda.
That's right.
And so that's why it came to be on this meeting.
Right. It's just coincidental that it's following this situation. The bottom line is that I think right now we are at a max downtown.
So we already took a vote. We're
Okay.
done.
So.
Well,
he doesn't
you still
want-
have to vote. You have a
Well,
motion.
I agree that we're at a max in downtown. I think we need to be diplomatic, and whether we do it after the fact,
Take a vote.
I think it's a
All
good
right,
idea to still have
okay,
the conversation.
Yeah, but we're not
Main
talking
Street.
about taking anyone off the street. What we're talking
No.
about is putting a cap on bringing in further, like we've done with the food court, to be
Right.
fair, right?
Yeah, food court.
And the other thing is that if we're going to put a cap on it, anyone who's in the downtown merchants organization and wanted to be in Village Fest had all this time to apply, right? So really, it should be more offensive to people that are planning to open a business soon and have not.
Yeah.
But people that are already there and have not opted to have a booth, why does that offend them? The people that are already there and have a booth, they're set. So I don't understand the
So
issue.
let's do
Why
with
we-
this two actions. One is that we voted for it, we all said yes. The second action that we should be taking, though, is to make sure that we do get alignment with Main Street to say, hey, by the way, these two things are not connected. We have too many vendors there. I think that communication needs to go back to Main Street so that we do get that alignment. Those are two separate actions.
I don't think that's an action. I think if there's merchants that want to be on the street, Joy can, since she's the president, can get a list of people and present it to Jazz whenever they need to, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then if one drops out, another one takes over. I mean,
Yeah.
there doesn't have to be a vote on that.
No, what I'm talking about, though, is alignment, rather than having people with believing that we're doing something that's rash, when it's really not rash.
Well, I think too, Jasmine, you go to some of these meetings, don't you? And she
Yeah.
represents the board. So I think discussion should be probably between you and downtown merchants, don't you think?
I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
always is happy.
Yeah, okay, getting back to, do you want to change it?
Nope, let's go for
Okay,
it.
so we had a motion.
We already did it.
We did vote.
Did
We
you
did
second?
vote.
And
We already voted.
Oh, okay.
We're good. It was just the new addition of information that we
Okay, so
needed
now,
to make sure.
okay. Unfinished business. Village Fest poster contest?
I will have a conversation with Board Member Flick regarding his request.
Okay.
Just let him know that
Okay.
we do have the ability to do some sort of incentive for participation.
And I have a little bit on that, too. I had said that I would talk to Charlie Ciali, who is one of the art teachers.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it. He said, it sounds like it would be great. I asked him what the age group was of his students, and they're 4th through 12th grade are really the art students for the most part here in town. And there is a woman, I don't have her information with me because I don't have my phone, I left it at home, who we would have to contact because I believe that we would need to present them with, this is what the Village Fest poster contest is about. This is what we're planning if there's going to be any kind of remuneration or whatever, right, or prize or whatever, and get their agreement because you're dealing with students going into a school, of course. So.
Okay.
Are we interested in that, I guess is my question.
Well, it's up to the board. We can, staff on our staff level can help create some sort of program guide to
Yeah.
guide the students as to what it is that we need. Just as long as the committee feels comfortable with it, wants to move forward with it, staff will take some lead from them as to what they want that program to look like, and we'll do the rest.
And when is the contest? I thought we were under a time constraint.
I thought we were trying to do it heading after Easter break.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we would present them, before the end of school, and then have them posted downtown during the summer season. That was the last discussion we had.
And I could share the guidelines that I use for the holiday banner program.
Which is what we used last time and
Yeah.
worked
Same
out
thing.
well.
Yeah,
It's
27th year.
No, I mean, that's with the schools?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, school, we use schools, also Boys and Girls Club, the James
Okay, great.
O'Jesse.
Yep.
Some religious schools for that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, maybe not so much for this one, but yeah, so I'd be glad to share that and how we do that one.
What's the general consensus, though? Do you guys think that we should even think about that, or should we leave it as really what it is?
I think we should think about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worthwhile when it happened. When we
Yeah, it's very
had
nice.
it, I think I actually have the banners in my storage. Yeah.
You're one of those, huh?
Hoarder. Well, they bring them to me. I'm not throwing them away. Children made them. Yeah, I do have them. Don't tell my husband. I have them.
He's listening.
No, he's not. But yeah, I do have them, and it was a very simple theme, and it was so sweet. It was really touching and beautiful. I really like this. I mean, the holiday one is very different, you know, it's much more complicated,
And
but
I
this
think
was just
kids really
beautiful.
like to do it.
Yeah, I think so,
they
too.
really get
Well,
excited
and
about
what
it.
they really liked about this program as opposed to the holiday banners is holiday banners are actually hand painted. That's hard.
Yeah.
This, they just have to submit their little it's a half a sheet of paper, just like this, because that's what, it's the approximate, you know, the similar dimensions to the big banner. You just submit that, and then we printed them. So that was easy, and then they got to see them up there.
Well, they have to paint
It
the
was
original
great.
one.
Yeah, they draw it,
Okay,
they draw it.
got it.
But on the holiday banners, not only do they have to paint the full-size banner, they have to do it on both sides.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
those are hand painted. It's a complicated
Oh, my goodness.
process. I can't, this is actual kids' artwork. Yes.
I suggest we all go to our store and ask
And
her to
pick
see
them, yeah, pick one.
So Dottie, did you want to give a report on our weekend?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
New business, none, right? Report and request, anybody from the public? No, board? Board comments, I have one and then I'll let the others talk. I started talking about what we did over the weekend, the three of us, and we went down there and it was really fun and informative.
Where was it?
And
We went-
beautiful.
the
Indio
Polo
Arts Festival.
Art Festival.
Gorgeous.
We talked to a lot of artists down there. One of the biggest things that the problem was, and then I'll let the rest of them talk about it, but their setup time. Some of these artists, they said it takes hours and hours and hours. And some of it was distance, but some took our cards, and there were some good
Quite a few.
jewelry people
Yeah.
that we
Right.
gave cards to. Of course, these two did a lot of shopping, I'll tell you that right now.
We had to
Anyway,
sample what was going
Not
on.
something Dottie ever does.
no, I didn't do it this time. I did not do it. So I'll start with Celia. What do you have to say about it? And then we'll pass it on to
I just
Julie.
thought there was a good interest, even from the people that were the artists that had giant pieces of art. I mean, and the other issue for them was that it was a 4-day festival, so they didn't have to take things down and put them back up. So, and a lot of them were from way out of town.
Yeah.
So, not very practical. But we did get, I think, a fair amount of interest.
Interest, yeah.
Yeah, we actually had several of the artists that we have here that we just actually included the jewelry from the
Yeah,
nail
they were
gentleman.
there.
He was
Yeah.
there, so he
He
was
was
having a
there.
great time, very happy. You know, we passed out a lot, I think, when we go to the La Quinta one, that I think there are more local people there, and I think we can grab some more from there as well. So
But
we'll
I
need
think
tickets for
overall,
that.
So-
I
Went
think
to
there was a
La Quinta
pretty
one?
good interest there.
Isn't the La Quinta, the big La Quinta festival, that's been
In March,
canceled?
no,
Somebody went online and looked at it, and
Nope.
it said canceled.
nope, it's there. It's in March
It,
or February.
All
Yeah,
right,
no,
then
it's
I'll
there.
We'll look into it and see what
Look into
the
okay.
ticket prices are
Yeah.
and
Okay.
see if we can get
They're
some more advocation for it. It'd be great.
$5 or something.
Okay, so but it was good, it was a good day.
Yeah, it was a
and
good day.
It was fun, and we walked the whole thing, I can't believe it.
I had to
Okay.
carry Dottie, yeah.
No, you did not. I walked it with my bad back and all.
I want to know
She
who
did,
soaked
she
their feet
walked.
when they got home.
No, not me, I was.
Little Epsom
Well,
salt.
we were walking,
Dorothy Elves.
we were walking on grass, so it was a lot
Perfect.
easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have another comment.
Go ahead.
I think the three of us were talking about the one vendor, I don't know if this is the appropriate
ahead.
place to bring this up, but the one existing vendor that we have downtown at the VillageFest, who's been there quite a while, we're getting some feedback from other vendors that they're not handmade and they've already been accepted. It's that big chunky beaded,
Seeds.
yeah.
They were seeds or some sort.
Seed beads, and so
Well,
I don't know how they got through.
Give it to staff. You can tell them either after, you know who it is, and staff will look into it, right? That's first procedure.
Yes. I'll let you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
they have been rejuried many times, and
Oh,
they come
okay.
in, they actually make them in front of us. It doesn't mean that everything there was made by them. Even they have those wooden with ridges, animals that make, is
No,
that?
the frog?
Oh.
No, that's
your
okay.
vendor.
closer to you.
Okay,
Your
but
products, uh-huh.
in speaking about that one with the animals, we certainly thought there's no way they made them, and that man came here with a block of wood and made one right in front of us.
This is the vendor
Yes.
that has big chunky
Yeah.
necklaces, and they have a huge, long
Oh.
table full of beaded things.
They have been rejuried, and somehow they have all the right
Yeah,
answers.
Okay, so they're okay.
But if you see something, say
absolutely. I mean,
something.
keep being vigilant, that's the whole point. I mean, because sometimes,
Well, isn't this something that we refer to the compliance committee and then they check
well,
it
when
out?
you see something on the street, if you're walking the street, the first people you do, and you should have both their phone numbers.
We do.
And
We've
then
done that.
on the street, when you go to a booth, because I think we talked about this a long time ago, I don't think that we should confront them. We can ask little questions, but I wouldn't get combative with the people. Pass it on to staff, call them, and she answers the phone, tell them where you are, what the booth is, and then they will go and check it out.
No, I understand, but in this case where it's I wouldn't say hearsay, but it was a referral from someone, not from us walking on the street and seeing it, do we refer it to the compliance committee first?
Go check it out yourself.
Before it goes to?
Well,
Why would I? I have nothing to do with this, right? I just heard this from her and she heard from
But you
somebody.
can't
I'm
tell
saying,
by just looking
Yeah.
at
Don't we
the,
formally-
you can't tell by just looking at the product.
Always check with staff.
Yeah, just refer
Okay,
to mine.
that's the
I'm
first.
trying to
when I'm there
understand
and I see
protocol
something,
here,
I'm
but
just
no
texting.
one asks
Always,
a question.
How often am I
always go
texting?
to staff. When
The moment
there
I
is a
see something, I just
question,
take a photo and I text it over to them, they take care of it.
Yeah, you
I
just-
don't get involved.
yeah.
When I've said anything, it's like, no.
None of this answers my question, but I will retract the
All right,
question.
no. To
My
answer your
question is about protocol. If somebody has a referral or something like that, do we start with the compliance committee?
I would call staff.
Okay,
Just,
That's
just
They are
for
the
that's
compliance
I'm saying, I
staff.
can text it
Okay.
over.
The compliance committee might be the ones calling staff.
Yeah, right.
More often.
Yeah.
But it's staff because
Got it,
they
okay.
kind of know it all. They know everything down there.
Know it all.
Okay, all right, now subcommittee reports, compliance, all right. Do we have anything on that?
Did we ever,
No? Social media?
any money?
Yeah.
A little bit of money.
You got money?
I have a little bit.
Oh my God.
Oh, good.
Then why don't we set up some time we can get together then?
Please. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be good.
Do you want to swing by, because a day that Joy is working and we can connect it over that? Do you, yeah?
I
What's a
can
good
if
day?
need to.
What's a good, whatever's a good day
yeah,
to
but if I go
watch.
on Monday,
You
I
can
can
talk,
talk.
you can talk after,
Okay.
after the meeting. Okay, so that's,
Connect with us
all right,
later.
the next one is the food court. Anything on that?
Nothing to report, except that Thursday when I was down there, I noticed two things. One is not every vendor is complying with having a table.
I agree, I was there also, and I
six.
thought very little seating.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there was things, I was standing in the street with food, and some of the vendors are taking a really long time to prepare the food. I gave up at one, I said, forget it, I'll just go to Tommy Bahama and get something to eat. Because and I was surprised at that they weren't prepared for, and it's not like there was a line or anything. Like, they just weren't prepared to serve. Some are great, like the heyday you walk up 5 minutes, you got your burger in your hand, and you're eating it, but not all of them.
I know.
Because we stopped at a number of them, I was with.
Well, you know what happens when that
Yeah.
happens.
I was going to
The
say what
street-
Donnie
No, I know,
says.
I'm not saying that we need to do anything about it, but
My
it
word for
just.
that
They're
is
gonna end
the
up going.
street will take care of
They're
them.
They're going, and then we'll bring a ramen
They'll be
restaurant there.
No, 7:30, maybe.
7:30.
All right. Next thing is
No,
Main Street comments. Joy?
You already made your comments.
I had enough. I made enough comments.
She has already spoken.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But thank you for explaining that better to me, because, watching it on YouTube was, maybe I wasn't getting the full feeling of it.
Well,
I admit I did fast forward a couple times,
Yeah.
because I was trying to get to.
I mean, it may look like that's what it was, but
Yeah.
it really wasn't.
Well, thanks, because
Nothing to
I
do
didn't
with
know.
that. No.
And I think we have to probably depend on you to help us transmit that message to the
Yes.
downtown merchants
Yeah.
that it wasn't,
Yeah.
because we don't.
No, I
know.
will.
Well, you
I-
will,
Well, that's
but we-
why I think too that, Jasmine can,
Yeah, that'll be,
I mean, do we do anything about
We
it?
will add it to
That's
the,
what I was
we will add it to your next agenda for discussion.
Okay.
great.
I don't remember that, but anyway.
Will we have further
He
information?
spoke.
or
It was
just
your
start
public-
with-
I know, but I
Yeah.
don't remember this particular time, 2018 May.
vendor is.
We
Or
will,
what
we
he
can,
does.
we can
Similar.
follow up and send you the agenda, or send you the video of that meeting so that everyone has information prior to your next board meeting for discussion.
Okay.
That would be great.
All right, staff reports?
So originally, we had the sustainability manager on the schedule, but since board member Flick is absent, who had requested his presence, I asked him to postpone to your next board meeting, so he'll be here to present at your next board meeting. And then I just wanted to notify the board that I am currently writing a staff report that will go to city council in regards to trying to maintain our current meeting time. As I explained at the last board meeting, City Council made a decision to have all commission and board meetings start anytime after 5:30. Ours is currently scheduled to start at 5:30 every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. So I'm writing a staff report. If you have any, we can't discuss it here, but if you do have any valid reasonings that you would like me to add to that staff report as to why you want to maintain the time frame of 3:30 as opposed to 5:30, send it to me in an email so I can make sure it's represented accordingly in that staff report.
What do you already have?
The reasoning that we have, our justification has to do with vendors. And getting them in. A lot of them come from out of state or out of the area who have long drives to get here to present before you and also get back. So I'm going to try and utilize the fact that you go through quite a few vendors every board meeting. It's what your number one priority is as a board, as our number one reasoning for trying to maintain the current time as opposed to going any later.
I just think that would even, I mean, as an adjunct to that, that would probably cut down on the number of people who would come
Yes,
to the board
for sure.
meetings.
And
If
I
they
don't-
had to drive all the way after work somewhere.
But then that can cut down on people wanting to be on the street.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
what
we're
I'm
saying,
saying.
that's the
Right.
problem,
Yeah.
yeah.
And all the vendors are here at 3:30, so they like it because they're not in traffic, and then they can get home at a decent hour as well, We're still here at 5:17, so, it's like. So I just wanted to make a comment that our Village Fest and our members and everyone, that this tragedy that happened on Sunday, our prayers go out to everyone that was in this crash, and we feel as a board and members and staff, our prayers go out to them.
Thank you. Okay, is that
Kobe
it,
Bryant.
everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody, anything else? No? Okay, let me have a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Great.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we adjourn at 5:18.